Alright, so one thing I did notice is we're telling it what the running speed is here, but we're never resetting its value. So we actually need to come back here and put this down here and set this to 0. That is one thing we do need to do. Now you might be wondering, why are we getting a red squiggly? The reason why, because we specified what running speed is inside this if statement, so it's not specified inside this statement. So what we'll need to do is actually paste it up here and get rid of it here. And you'll see that that went away. So is what we need to do now. As you can see, I put this back at min run speed once it hits this else statement. But is what we need to do is, because I noticed that I was actually going in the opposite direction. Don't know why, but I was. So I'm trying to figure out why the rest of this is not quite doing what it's supposed to do. One thing that I can definitely see is we have speed x verified, specified right here, and we just say it equals running speed. Well, up here, this is actually equal the input.getAxis. And so we will need to copy this, or well, we won't need to copy all of it, but we will need to put a lot of this down in here. So I'm actually going to make this equal, you bastard. I'm actually going to make it equal this. And so now running speed, we'll need another float for this to be able to make this work. Because running speed will be different from regular speed. Oh, we could just multiply speed. Oh, no, we can't because we have this. So we have those. I actually need to create another little float thingy. So that's what I'm going to do real quick. So we have the running speed right here. Then we're going to have float movement run speed, and that will equal that. And so now what we need to do is specify in here. Let me do that. We need to specify in here because we have running speed, which is our lerp. So we'll have running speed in here, and this will be multiplied by movement run speed. Because we have that, we no longer need this in here. And so if I'm thinking correctly, this should work. Theoretically. So let's go ahead and test it out. And I know I'm not in the metric scene. I actually literally realized that whenever I sat back down after taking care of the dog, so I feel like a jackass, but it's okay. It is okay. So it is definitely working. What? No. Kiss my ass, you little bastard. Alright, so that's definitely working the way I want it to work. I want to speed the player up, so I'm going to put this back at 3. This will be 3.5, and this will be 6. I'm trying to keep from saving anything, and I'll explain why in just a minute. Mainly because I haven't checked this scene out, so I really don't want to save anything. Alright, so that is working. One thing I do want to do, however, is I have this in here, and this is telling me everything, but I don't know what my speed is. So what I want to do is I want to do a debug.log run speed equals, and I'm going to say plus running speed. So I could also just get the whatever, but I'm not really curious about that. So now whenever I move, I should be able to see a message at the bottom, and this will tell me what my current speed is at. Okay, so it's saying right around 3.5. So if I go into player, I have time to max run speed. That should be multiplied by time.delta time, and it is. That's interesting. Because if it's a 1, then that should lerp up to 6 almost instantly. And it is not. I'm getting upwards of 3.7, but it's not lerping all the way up, and I don't understand why. So now we come in here. Time to max run speed. We've already told it what it is up there earlier. So I'm actually going to get rid of this for just the time being. And let's go ahead and see what happens when I hit play. So essentially it should just automatically put it, after 1 second, it should just put up to oh, that was interesting. Okay, now that's an interesting error. If you press both of them and press shift, it actually locks the player in. So that's actually really, really interesting error. So I don't know why it's not lerping the way it needs to. That's actually really, really interesting to me. So that will be an error we will fix later. Yay, errors. Well, bugs anyways. So I'm not really happy with that, but we'll get it fixed later. Next thing we want to do is attack. So that's, you know what, we're only at 6 minutes. Screw it. Let's go ahead and do it. We actually need I'm going to do serialized field, and we will say, do I want to create a rigid body? We'll figure it out later. So I'm actually just going to say game object. Well, no, I don't want to create a rigid body because this will be its own. And this will be go. And let's go ahead and call this attack something. Just go attack, screw it. And I apologize if you hear my dog, little bastard. So we actually want to say if input dot get button down, then we will say fire 1, that's the name of the button. And once again, if we come here to crap, I saved it in there, didn't I? Yep. So we'll wait for this to load. We'll come into project settings, input manager, and we have fire 1 right here. Fire 1 is specified by left control or mouse 0. Now mouse 0 is the left mouse button. Mouse 1 is the right mouse button, and mouse 2 is the middle mouse button. Any other mouse buttons beyond that can be specified through it can actually be specified. You can find them on Wikipedia. Some mice will specify which buttons they are linked to. And you can also find that out in your Windows thing. That's what I'm going to do is I'm going to say instantiate. So what am I instantiating? Well, we want to instantiate the go attack. And where are we going to instantiate? Well, we're actually going to call another script for this. And the reason why, because I have player right here, and I have her attack as a child. I want to call the child and have that, because that can always be in front of the player. So if I come over here, and I know the player is facing this way, I can move that over here. And if the player is facing the other way, I can move it the other way. So I'll do that scripting here in just a little bit. Is what I am going to do, though, is I'm actually going to take all of this that I have done so far. Minimize, little bastard. Control C. And I'm going to go into project. I'm going to go into scenes. I'm going to go into metric scenes. Do not save. Control V. Control V. There we go. And I'm actually just going to get rid of these two. So, metric scene, ground, movement, things like that. Yes, how do we do it? We do not know, but that is why we're here, is to learn. So let's learn. When you're dealing with sprites, sprites cannot interact with 3D collision objects. So the way you need to do this, you actually need to come into game object, and you can just create anything you want. For this simple thing, I'm just going to come in here, sprite, and this, as you can see, there's nothing here. The reason why there's nothing here, because we haven't actually put a sprite in here. I do not trust my dog over there. Okay, so to do a sprite, you can actually create a new sprite, or in this case, I'm actually going to create a 3D object. But Jimmy, you said, I know what I said. Hold on. So we're actually going to come up here to 3D object, and we're just going to create a plane. It's a very simple plane, but it is a plane. This goes back to what I was saying. I want the sprites to interact with 3D objects. So we have a mesh collider. We do not need that. Is what we do need, however, is a Boss Collider 2D. Boss Collider 2Ds will interact with sprites, but you do not see one. And interestingly enough, if we click here, we now see it. So this collider is actually here, but it is so thin because it's a plane, you will not see it. And if you look, nothing is actually lined up, but that is okay. And so, lastly, did I delete the cameras? So, yeah, I did delete the camera, so that's good. So, we can go ahead and hit play now, and you'll see that the players will not fall through the floor. So, we're good. Yay. Alright, so the next thing we need to do, we need to see if the player's going left or right. So one of the things we can do is inside of the sprite render, you see how we have flip? We can actually come up here and say serialize field, sprite renderer, SR, and then we will say SR equals SR.getTo componento. This will be of type sprite renderer. And we want to see if we're going left or right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to say I guess I could just do it here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do it here. So I'm actually going to just paste this here and do that. So I want to see if it's greater than that. I know there's an easier way of doing this, and I'll do that later, but for now I'm just going to say sr.flipx. But now this actually comes into a problem. Oh, that needs to be true. This actually comes into a problem, and the problem with this is actually being called every single frame. But for now, it will work for just the basic principles of what we're testing. Let's see if I got this correct. I need to come down here, drag the player on here. Where are you at? Where are you at? No, not there. What'd I forget? Forgot something. Ah. There we go. Righto. Hey, guys, I don't know if I ever told you this or not, but your leader is a dumbass sometimes. Just throwing that out there. Alright, so as long as I don't attack, this should be fine. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go ahead and find my attack PNG and throw that in there. Okie dokie. So, we have our player. And if I go left, so you can see one of the issues we're having. It is flipping it, but it's only doing it on certain times. And that's what the issue is. So it's basically setting these values, but it's not doing exactly what I want it to do. It's kind of working. It's just not exactly where I want it. So there's actually a couple of ways we can do this. We can actually say if input dot get axis raw. You know what? I'm just going to copy this. Control C. Okay. Is greater than 0. This is basically the same thing that we're doing. The only difference is we're not checking it with the rigid body. We're actually checking it with the axis inputs that we're doing. And that does have its own advantage. Mainly because we don't have to worry about floating point values. So you'll see that this is a little bit better. It's probably still not going to be the greatest. There we go. So I actually got this backwards. No surprise. This needs to be less than, and this needs to be greater than. And a lot of that is just me being a dumbass again. So now if I go the way that the P is showing, that should stay the same, but if I start going the other direction, it should flip around. There we go. So it is working. Now, one of the advantages we have with this is if we look here, we can actually set this player attack to flip with the player. So the way we do that, I'm like, we could just flip the player. Essentially, we could say scale equals -1. And that might end up being what we have to do. So if we say transform dot local scale dot x equals -1. I think it was -1. What is it? What is it? What is it? How do I not remember that? You would think I would, but I do not. Oh, there's my Unity script. So I'm going to say scale. No. Hey guys, my dogs are assholes. Okay, so... Oh, well that sucks. It's a vector 3. So I'm not going to do that. I am so not going to do that. I'm going to keep these as true and false. And over here, ATK left, ATK right. And so, let's see if it's flip x equals true. So that would be ATK left equals true, TK right equals false. I'm going to... You know, I don't know why I just did that. I'm now realizing what's going on. I need to say set active true, set active false, and I'm just going to flip these around. I don't know if that's right or not, but I'm tired, so you know what, screw it. See, I can't even type. Okay, so I'm going to come in here. I actually need to create another player attack, but one's going to be right, one's going to be left. Player attack left. I'm going to duplicate that. Click here, and I'm just going to say right. And so what I need to come in here and do is I actually need to set left actually needs to be over meow. And so I'll come into player. So I have left and right, so I'm going to drag left and right. So right is the one that will need to be active when you first start. So let me see if I did this correctly. I'll be amazed if I did. Hey, and that's working correctly. So what's going on is whenever I rotate, it's just making these active and inactive. And that'll basically be the determining factor of which one will shoot a fireball or whatever. Energy blast, that's the name of it. So now we need to create the energy blast that comes from the player attack. So I'm going to come into scripts. I'm actually going to create a new folder, and this is going to be called player scripts. So I'm actually going to create a new C# script, and this will be called player attack. And for player attack, both of these will actually have the attack script in it. Oh, come on, Unity. I'm going to throw these on here. And let's go ahead and edit the script. So the first thing I always do, besides call my dogs assholes, is I get rid of all that crap in the middle. I actually want to create a serialized field. So I'm going to say serialized field. I'm going to say game object. I'm going to call this geo attack. And I'm going to say public void go public void attack. And I'm actually going to call this each chance I get. Or not each chance I get, I'm sorry. But I'm going to call this each time I hit this fire button. So I actually need to call this player attack script. I'm going to do that by saying serialized field. And it's called player attack, PA, not PSA. It's not public service announcement. So I'm going to say PA equals PA.get component, getto componento, if you remember correctly. Player attack is what I am getting. Each time I create these get components, I know those are kind of confusing, like what the hell does that mean? So this is the name of the script. This is the name of the script. This is the script I am calling. What is the variable name to that? Well, I'm giving the variable name PA. We can call that my dog's an asshole if we want, but that would be kind of confusing. So I just abbreviate it. Player attack, PA. Easy. What's this PA equals PA.get component? In some cases, when you do just PA equals, or whatever you're getting equals get component, some cases, whenever you put the script in there, it will disappear whenever the game actually starts. So that's why I specify it saying dot get component. So what's this? If you're saying this is what it equals, well, because this right here, I have to get the component of this specific item that I'm calling. In this case, this is PA, so I'm getting the component player attack. RB2D, this is a 2D rigid body, so I'm getting the component of the rigid body 2D. That's why anytime I throw anything up there like that, you'll see me do this automatically. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, fire 1. I'm actually, I need to say LPAR, right, left. So I actually almost forgot about that. But it's an easy fix. All I have to do is just come here and we will say R. And so the next thing we're going to do is we have this fire 1. I'm just going to say shoot left or right. How do we know if we're going to shoot left or right though? Well, simple. We're going to use this down here. So I'm actually going to copy that. I'm going to paste this in here. So attack left, so we're actually going to say PAR dot attack. Otherwise, we're going to say PAL dot attack. And because it's only one line of code I am looking at, I can do it this way. This is a form of shorthand. If it's one line of code, you do not need swirly brackets. That's why this up here doesn't have swirly brackets. If it's more than one line of code, you do need swirly brackets. So technically, I don't need swirly brackets for this one, but I do have to have it for this one because this is 2 lines of code. So, just a little tidbit. We're going to say instantiate, go attack, no! Go attack, transform dot position, quaternion dot identity. Jimmy, what the hell is that? Quaternions deal with rotation, and the identity is the identity of that rotation. That's what that is. The other thing we need to do is we have right, which is on the right side, but then we have left. problem with this is if we shoot and we're facing this way, or facing the way we're supposed to be, it's actually going to go back through the player. So we need to make sure scale X is set to -1. That's actually a very important piece of information. So then the next thing we have, and this will be the last thing, I promise, we have our attack right here, but we don't have anything attached to it. And on top of that, it's kind of big. So I'm just going to scale this down. There we go. It's about right size. Why not? So what I need to do is I actually need to create a new script. And this is going to be called the Energy Blast script. So this is going to be super fast. And then that'll be the end of this tutorial. Hey, 2 tutorials, that's not too bad. So we have our attack. I'm going to say Energy Blast script. Come back over here. Double click on this crap. Bring up Visual Studio. Select all this crap in the middle. Delete it. Bye. This is actually the part I'm going to kind of pay attention to. So we're actually going to have to call on the collider system for this, which means, you guessed it, this little bastard needs a rigid body. So we're going to say serialized field, rigid body, 2D, RB 2D, and let's go ahead and create a start RB 2D equals RB 2D dot get component. Component type is rigid body 2D. And we'll throw that in there. The next thing we want to do is we want to call update. Update! And we actually need to float. Float. I'm going to make this a public float. Public float time to destroy. Why am I doing parentheses? I don't know. And I'm just going to set this to equal 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if time to destroy is I'm actually going to say time to destroy minus equals time dot delta time. Then I'm going to say if time to destroy is less than 0, then we will destroy game object. Why would you do that, you little bastard? There we go. The main thing I want to do, though, is say RB2D dot just going to use an add force. I'm going to say transform dot forward, and we will multiply that by we actually need to create another public float called speed. And we'll just multiply this by speed. So this will actually update, and it will constantly be adding that force, so it's going to be kind of chaotic. I don't care, I like chaotic. This game's meant to move fast anyways. On trigger enter, we're going to say destroy game object. Basically, if it hits an enemy or hits something that the player can grab, it's going to destroy the game object. And I would create one for collision enter. However, well, the reason why I don't create one for collision enter is because once it hits the floor or something like that, you know what, screw it. Let's go ahead and do that. On collision enter, and you know what, if you guys have noticed it, good job. I just now noticed it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what I was talking about. Almost didn't notice it because I'm a dumbass. So this is done, that is done, these are done, those are done. Pancakes, waffles, syrup, peanut butter. Let's go. Attack left, attack right. We're going to... No, I don't want to bring the energy blast up there. I actually want to bring the attack up there. Better yet, let's go ahead and make the attack a prefab. And so this way I can just call the attack, and then I'll click on attack here. I can delete that. And let's see if it works. Oh. Pew, pew, pew. Oh, I don't see anything. No reference exception. There we go. That's what I like to see. Not really. Okay, I know exactly what it is. Jimmy, you dumbass. Oh, no, that's... Let me open this up. Yeah, that's... I have that in there, though. Attack left, attack right. No, I do not. Left, right. I knew that's what I was forgetting. I was forgetting the stupid scripts. Okay, this should work now. As long as I don't have my head up my ass, this should work. Okay, so that is working. Awesome. So let me go into this. I'm just going to drag here. Let me add a rigid body 2D. Let me drag this on here. Come back in here. Test it one more time. And hopefully we'll send these fuckers flying. Well, I mean... I'm not too terribly disappointed with that. I'm really not. But, just like me giving my boss a get well soon card, I know I can do better. So... I'm actually going to set this at 6. Anything we do with the attack, we'll actually edit through the prefab. Just saying. So it's destroying it on load. So let's see. I think that's what I need to do is actually need to... I'm like, it's kind of working, so I'm happy with that. It is kind of working. It's just not doing the add force like I want it to. Because it should be adding that force to it. So I think that's what I need to do is I actually need to set that to like 200 or something crazy like that. Kind of like the jump speed. Dog, you are an asshole. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to 200. I'm going to hit play and see what it looks like. Hopefully it goes flying. Because that would just be awesome. Now right now I can't shoot, but when I move, I can shoot. And these are coming out of the wrong parts. I don't know why. So I'm going to set this to 2000. So the reason why it moves, or why it shoots whenever I move, because we're setting those true and false. But we're not, we're only saying if you're actually moving, then you can shoot. So that's going to be what I'm going to fix tomorrow. Oops, sorry, dog. This is going to be the end of the tutorial for the night because I am tired. I'm getting my white ass to bed. So until next time, I'll see y'all later.